Okay, we're back with another episode of High Raid Edison. So today we have Chris K with 1133 rating versus Fabbro02 with 1090 rating. So both players should be in the top 100 now. I think Fabbro might be skirting next. I think it's up to 1050 now as we're recording this. But both players should be in the top 100 or just maybe just outside. Opening hands are Armonite, Charge, Plague, Compulse, Dad, D-Prison, Sirocco, Icarus, Vayu and Yata. So some kind of Blackwing with the draw traps, probably Vayu. So Fab's going to pick up Trap Dust Shoot and just go wild with the sets. Yeah, I think this is what's so funny about the draw traps, is that it does just mean that you can kind of play a little bit more liberal into Heavy Storm, and actually it's because it's either bluffing a draw trap, which you don't want to play into, or it's bluffing a Starlight Road, which you also don't want to play into. So it's a bit of a weird mind game that these draw traps are kind of creating in the meta now. And the Trap Dust Shoot's going to get used straight away anyway. So draws into Vayu. Yeah, Dust Shoot, send back the Armonite. Yeah, it's tough. I wonder if you take the Dad just after seeing the Charge, because you're still leaving Darks, and that can be dangerous. So let's see what they do. Yeah. Did they shuffle? Because they put an Armonite. Returned Armonite at the top of the deck. Shuffled hand, shuffled deck, yeah. Okay, they did shuffle. Just DB being DB. But yeah, that Charge is putting two Darks in the grave already. So that Dad is feeling quite close. Lila coming down now. So going to crash the Vayus, take them off of Icarus attack, and set the Compulse. This is really heads up playing from Chris. They're reading this really well. So, I mean, we can literally read it, and we're thinking they're playing quite well right now. So, sets the bottomless and passes over. So, Lila coming down, that's going to get bottomless. Dark Armed coming down. No Prio called. Yep. Going to keep popping them individually. Yata's going to go off and draw the Mirror Force. They're going to get in for 28. Yeah, still got the Compulse up and everything. Okay, draws into the D-Prison, so yeah. I mean, we liked the turn one so much, why not just do it again? So 2 D-Prisons and a Mirror Force down. This is D-Prison and Compulse. Wow, picks up a Sirocco. Okay, that's nice. Gonna use the Void to try and blow up one that matters. What they don't realise is that they all matter. Gonna go in now. Mirror Force. Do they decide to Compulse now? Yeah, they're all out of Darks. But Dad is just such a house of a card that I guess you would rather, yeah, then just set the Plague. You know, you got a D-Prison, you're probably going to survive the turn. They're only drawing into they're only going to have 2 cards in hand. So Sirocco coming down now. That's going to get banished by the D-Prison. That feels like a good trade. Draws into the Solemn. Tributes the Plague for their own Sirocco. It goes in. That's going to get met with the D-Prison. You're kind of getting concerned about your Dark count now. You don't really want to be playing the Solemn with 8,000. But you are probably going to have to set it, yeah. Draws into Brain Control. Passes. Wow. There's no way. There's simply no way. This is huge, this Burial, because it's Armed Wing. Yeah, it's game, right? Can I math? 23? Oh no, he's 100 short. So Dad gonna get him for 28. Goes into Oppression. Oh god. Yeah, this is. I mean, yeah, that Brain Control is gonna have to be solemned. Yeah, you just have to. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, it's definitely enough. It's solemn the Brain Control, you got the game. So game 2 now. Fab's going to get to go first. So opening hands are Aura, Bottomless, D-Prison, Book, DD Crow, and Blizzard. This is nice to get Blizzard in rotation with a level 4. TT, Deck Devi, Gale, Dust Tornado, and D-Prison. Not such a strong hand to see, so just going to start with Bottomless and Bora. Passing over, draws into Crow. Yeah, so both players on Crow. Vayu, Gale coming down, halving and attacking. Yeah, playing around the Bottomless nicely. Draws into the MST. Yeah, I was going to say, I think you try and blind MST here and get the Blizzard off. The Crow's going to stop it, but it's definitely the right thing to try and do. I'm going to try and crash now. Do you crash? I know the Gale can come, can half it next turn, but you have Book and D-Prison. Yeah, okay. Decides to crash. I guess they're just worried about, you know, they draw a real other monster. Leaving a tuner up is quite dangerous. Going to set the D-Prism, pass over, draws into a Vayu, sets the Vayu, and sets the TT. Sets the Dust Tornado, passes over, draws into a Lila. Okay, Lila going to try and take a swing at some of the back row. Get met with a Bottomless. Draws into a second copy of Crow. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Fab's deck's not working with him the best at the minute. Draws into an Armor Knight, so yeah, you've got a Vayu on field, but nothing to really get going. I guess you probably dump a Sirocco in hopes that you can get a Deck Devi online. I think Deck Devi is really interesting into Blackwings, not only because you know they side Crow a lot of the time, but just because really the only ones you're actually scared about are the small ones. The ones that do the big pushes are like Blizzard, Kalut, Gale. Those are the ones that are really quite scary cards. So they're going to Crow the Gardener immediately. Okay. Going to get D-Prison on the Armor Knight. Draws into another copy of Blizzard. Yeah, it's unfortunate this was banished. Going to Dust Tornado. The Dust Tornado. Going to let them set the Deck Devi in their opponent's turn, which is nice. In case they can get into it in their turn. So TT and Deck Devi still down into a Book. That's a Vayu set. So they've now got Vayu and Plague Spreader set. Draws into a Kalut. Okay, Kalut's good. I'd have liked to have seen a shuffle of the hand there, Fab. You know better than that. But Kalut's going to get into the Vayu now. Draws into the Raikou, sets the Raikou. Okay, that Raikou could be massively important if it does go off. So let's see. They've got another Crow for like Armed Wing plays, but yeah, feels like that could be quite a good reward because they also probably want to Crow this Plague at some point. Yeah, draws into the Compulse. Can flip the Raikou, hit the Bottomless, mills a Vayu, a Dad, and a return. Sorry, a Burial. Yeah, that kind of sucks. But two Vayu in grave is good. Just giving this DD Crow so many targets that they're not going to be able to hit them all. Draws into a Blizzard now. Yeah, going to go straight to battle phase and try and get over that. Yeah, nothing they can do here. Draws into a Brain Con and passes. Draws into an Allure. Yeah, definitely Allure in here. Yeah, sending one of the Blizzards makes sense. But yeah, it makes sense, but they don't realise this Crow is basically not going to stop them when they do get everything online. Draws into a Greffer. Greffer's a bit unfortunate now, but it is big. Probably going to get met with the Book. Oh no, I guess they've got the Blizzard for this. So yeah, they can Blizzard into a level 5 and take out the Greffer. They're probably quite happy with that. Black Whirlwind also in hand gives them a reason to summon the Blizzard. So that's a Vayu now. Yeah, just getting cards out of the deck. Goes into an Android. Android probably going to meet the TT. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, maybe they're thinking of... What were they think? Yeah, what are they thinking of here? I was thinking maybe they didn't do this during the Blizzard combo. They were thinking about Starlight Road, but yeah, I think you're not getting to keep the Greffer anyway, so you may as well take out the Android, and you're at enough life points with enough good cards in hand. They obviously didn't have the Sirocco at the time, enough of a grave setup. I think you'd be quite confident, you know, taking out the Android and losing the TT for it, but okay. Chris has been playing fantastic this whole game though, so maybe this is just the right call and I'm just reading it wrong. So Brain Control on the Android. Yeah, I kind of thought they might be thinking Brain Control for the Android, but I still think TT, Brain Control something later is maybe slightly better. Obviously we have full view, so we can make the most informed decision on the turn. But yeah, I think even with not that information, I think you're losing the Greffa. Android's a bit of a house. Torrential it. Do what you want. And you're actually hoping for a Sirocco, which actually ended up drawing anyway. So Sirocco coming down now. I'm going to beat over the Android. Going to set the Compulse. Yeah, this feels good. Feels really good. Yeah, and actually, ironically, if they deck Devi now in standby, they'd be in a really good position, because neither the Sidra or the Sirocco would come down. They'd lose 2 out of hand, and they'd reveal their own opponent's own brain control, which also now wouldn't have a target. They do it. Okay. Yeah, that's really hard to see. That's really hard to see that as the kind of... I mean, I was pointing it out like with the view of, with hindsight, this is what you would have done. But Chris is shotgunning it in standby phase. That's a really heads up play. Yeah, they're going to use the Crow in response to get rid of the Plague, which makes sense. Yeah, you would just use it before you lose it. And now Chris is playing with perfect information. They've not got a whole lot going on yet, but they will do when they start valuing out resource. So Armed Wing coming out now. That's going to get him for 23. Slightly concerning they've got the Sirocco in hand. We're going to set the Dust Shoe and pass over. Draws into another copy of Sirocco. So at least they've got the Dust Tornado now for the Whirlwind. He's going to try and brain control there. Oh yeah. Okay. Now I guess he's just hoping that he tribute summons. They're going to go straight to battle, so you are going to have to bounce the Cyber Dragon. Yeah, bounce the Cyber Dragon. So then if they tribute for this, because you know the whole hand, then if they tribute for this, you've got it engrave. And you can TT. Okay. Yeah. So what does Chris decide to do here? Yeah, I mean, TT or Dust Tornado is kind of fine. Yeah, actually I think Dust Tornado is better. Just because, yeah, there's no reason to use a trap as strong as TT there. So Armor Master going to beat over. You're probably saving this for the real Sirocco. So that Sirocco's going to come down. Yeah, they're just revealing the Icarus attack first. That Sirocco's going to boost itself up. I'm confused. It's a shame we can't go back, but that set was TT, so surely it's just normal summon Sirocco. You know the whole hand. So they normal summon Sirocco, you TT, and then you Silver Wind next turn. And I think that I can't remember the exact life, but it would have been close to game. Okay, maybe Chris just didn't see it. Maybe they thought they had Necro and they didn't. Okay, going into game 3, which they absolutely shouldn't be. Bora, Kalut, TT, MST, and Mirror Force, Vayu, Greffa, Necro, Solemn, Dust, and MST. Wow, so they've got 2 specifically good cards against this deck, and a Blackwing, and a Greffa set up to either dump a Blackwing or a Gardener. Chooses the Gardener, dumps the Plague. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's probably what you do first. Yeah, no fear around Heavy, which I guess with Solemn is fine. So MST hitting MST, Bora coming down. Yeah, gonna banish the Necro just to not lose the Greffa, given that they've got extra resource they can garner from this with the Vayu. So gonna Dust Tornado, hits the Mirror Force, nice. Left the TT up. There's 2 strongest traps in the game. So Greffa pitching Vayu, dumping Sirocco. Do you Heavy here? No, they're just playing into it. I think that's fine. I think you definitely torrential here if you're Fab. They're just gonna hope the Kalut saves them. Okay, they were yeah, they were holding it for. Were they holding it for the Plague, or were they just getting greedy? Yeah. Okay. So they're going to solemn the TT now. Yeah, this is going to go up into a Colossal Fighter. Yep, I mean, if it dies, it comes back, I guess. So Colossal Fighter getting in, and then 17 over. I guess they know Kalut is there, or they at least have a big assumption, given that they tried to swing with Bora last turn. Draws into another copy of Bora. Yeah, so Blizzard for the Bora. Whatever I play around, always the opposite. Chris, mate, you should have TT'd last game. So this is going to bring out the Brionac bounce back the Colossal Fighter. Get over the Greffa. Draws into the Storm. No, that will be game. They've already used the Necro Gardener. Okay. Oh, okay, they didn't summon the Bora. Yeah, I mean, obviously we have hindsight. We can see this is a heavy storm. They probably think it's real. Yeah. Okay, Chris just showed the crow. Passing over. Yeah. No GG's exchange. Reasonable. I mean, yeah. Blackwings is such a hard deck to beat in this format in general. It's probably not a good matchup for Vayu. I don't know how I feel about this. I know we always talk about like how the best decks stack up against each other, but really I guess Blackwing versus Vayu, I always feel if I'm a Vayu player I'm in the worst position, but then equally I always feel like if I'm the Blackwing player I'm in the worst position. I don't think there is a good position. I think it's just who draws Sirocco how many times. So it's tough. It's definitely a tough matchup, and very jarring when, as Chris kind of said there, he's playing around something that they don't have into something that they do have, which is really the whole like point of Edison is making reads. And they, to be fair, Chris made some excellent reads in games 1 and 2. Fab, yeah. Blackwing's doing Blackwing things. It was nice that we didn't see so much Whirlwind kind of dominating. And making it so that it was just such a total blowout, which it can definitely be if Blackwing's drawn to Whirlwind easily. But yeah, two really good players playing their respective decks at a high level, and a good replay to watch.